this damned sunshine. I don't want to cut firewood today. Okay, well, it is sunshiny, that's right. Well, we know the cold front slamming in tomorrow in the BC interior, and it's going to trigger some thunderstorms down south. We're going to talk about all this and that and things in between. That's what today's episode's about. Welcome to all you new viewers. Yesterday, I forgot to leave out the bad news show intro. So this is bad news. It's bad news done badly. There it is. This is bad news. My God.
Falling out right now.
Anything could happen. Get on! Wow. I'll watch the video later. They try mopping this. This episode is brought to you by CanadianTraining.ca, which is launching on October 1st. Training for you, your business, your team, including mental well-being and public-facing roles, public relations superpowers, how to become the broadcaster, how to use media and audio to reach your audience, your messaging, your speaking, media, how to reach the public, and more. Join the newsletter list now for exclusive insider previews and early bird pricing. Well, we knew we had a few warm days to start the week here in the BC interior. Enjoy it. It's not going to last all that long, but it's going to be awesome for a while, as long as it lasts, right? I'm really happy about this. I'm really happy to see some sunshine today. It means I have to go run chainsaws some more. I used to be so young that I loved running chainsaw. I loved falling trees back then. That's how young I used to be. I used to love doing that shit. Now I love doing this. And I just need firewood to put in that thing behind me so that I don't die this winter. Oh, but that's not a problem today. In fact, already at, what time is it right now? It's 9:44. I'm recording this. And it's 13 degrees Celsius here in Wells, BC at 4,000 feet above sea level. It's lovely, lovely warm weather. So we have this threat of thunderstorm tomorrow. The early bird map is out, and it doesn't really say anything. So expect gray across a large section of southern British Columbia tomorrow. There's going to be a high chance of gray. We'll find out what that means tomorrow, I guess. Well, no, we'll find out what that means right here. That's why you're here today. So the plot thickens so far. We do have special weather statement now all along the entire west side of Vancouver Island for near visibility fog. So it's not about rainfall yet. That's just about fog. Fog advisory. Rainfall warning, though, does continue up to 150 millimeters now, possible by Wednesday for this entire large region, which is just west of Bellicule and Hoggensburg. Clem 2 starting areas, Rivers Inlet and Kincombe Inlet today. Anybody who's out there is going to be experiencing some extreme rainfall, things like that. We do have a little bit of a special weather statement here in the rest of southern British Columbia. What does this say? Late season thunderstorm potential with very strong wind gusts and locally heavy downpours. Where Fraser Canyon, North and South Thompson, Nicola Valleys, Similkameen, Okanagan Valley, Shuswap, Columbia's Kootenays, Wednesday and Wednesday night for areas east of Golden and Creston towards the Alberta border. This is a very interesting special weather statement because how often do we go to Environment Canada and their statements say basically nothing? Like, well, we are monitoring for the adverse effects of bad weather, or, bad weather the conditions may be appropriate for bad weather tomorrow, or, they're more vague than I am, man. I'm like the king of vague around here. Special weather statement says very strong wind gusts leading to potential broken tree limbs and power outages. Boaters and watercraft users advise of sudden strong wind gusts over lakes. So we're looking at some powerful winds coming through. Motorists advise of strong crosswinds over high elevation highway passes susceptible to crosswinds. I don't know specifically where that might be, but examples are there's places like outside Quesnel where you get caught in those crosswinds, or say south of 100 Mile House up towards Begbie. There's some strong crosswinds and places like that. Those places are not on this map, but those are examples if you've ever driven there. Places where strong crosswinds. Heightened risk of debris flow over areas impacted by burn scars. So we're talking about possibility of landslides. A vigorous cold front will cross the province on Wednesday, bringing with it very strong winds aloft and unstable air mass that is ripe for the development of strong wind gusts, heavy showers, and potentially thunderstorms. I think it should say potentially strong thunderstorms, and it could probably do away with the rest of that wording. So potentially strong thunderstorms, which may have wind gusts and heavy showers, as strong thunderstorms do. Any thunderstorms that develop will likely form a line, resulting in the potential for repeated heavy downpours for multiple thunderstorms over the same area. So embedded within this larger system of rainfall that's going to be moving through, you can think about, so here's a mass of precipitation, and maybe the very front line, the frontal is going to be the strongest, but there could be areas with inside still that pop up and have embedded thunderstorms. So we're watching for that. Damage to buildings such as roof shingles and windows may occur. High winds may result in power outages and fallen tree branches. Motorists, especially in high-profile vehicles, may expect hazardous driving conditions. So that's quite a special weather statement for a large swath of British Columbia. I would have to say we've been nailing it here on the channel. We've been talking about that risk of thunderstorm. Oh, this is the good stuff. This is the stuff I like. Oh, this is good. I can't wait to read it. Atmospheric river gave copious amounts of rain in the north and central coast of BC Sunday night, 22nd September to Tuesday morning, the 24th. This is a summary of weather information received by Environment Climate Change Canada as of 6 a.m. Pacific time, Tuesday, 24th of September. That's today. What kind of rainfall we got up there? Prince Rupert, 74 mils. Holland Rock, 53, 54, in Dajing-Geets area. I probably didn't say that correctly. North Coast includes Selvis Highlands Highway Station, 126 mils. Leggett Creek Highway Station, 62. Stewart Airport, 62. A bunch of 61s. Bella Coola Airport hit 133 mils. So that's very, very impressive. That's where my friends, although I don't think they'll be working anymore, that's where my friends from BC Wildfire work, the initial attack crew there. Hey, Quinn, if you're watching, you're awesome. A lot of rain happening in Bella Coola, buddy. This here's my project, Interior Weather and Wilderness Watches. We got 37.9 thousand people on here. You can always find lots of good weather information on here. If you live in the BC interior, here's what we're looking at today, though. Highway 16 towards Prince Rupert. Wayne Wrights Jr. writes, this is a screenshot from a Mark Bolton video, so this is yesterday. Where is the Shames River? Shames River is right here, let's see, where are you? Here's Terrace, somewhere right along here. One of these is the Shames River. I think that's this guy right here. It's actually this little guy next door to XG. So here's the Shames River. Just this little guy here, steep country. It had that big flood yesterday right here. So that's a good example of the kind of things that we're seeing along the coast. Now, something you got to understand, one thing I got to be clear about with an atmospheric river is as that fire hose moves around, if it continues to move, then it's not going to be able to dump as much rain into one place and create the kind of flooding that we expect, right? But if that fire hall stops, like it did in Abbotsford in 2021, then all the rain lands in one place and continues to do so. And it's kind of been like that in Clem2. They've been getting a lot of rain up there and certainly up towards that north coast area. So there's the fire hose. It's been aimed kind of at that sort of area towards that Shames River, and it's been getting quite a lot of, and you can see more is coming. This long band of moisture that's just this ribbon that's reaching across the Pacific, bringing so much rain to parts of BC. But yeah, look at southern BC today. Man, nice and sunshiny out my window. It's beautiful out. In fact, it's now already warmed up an entire degree. It's already 14 since I started recording this like 15 minutes ago. So it's warming up fast today. We're going to have a nice warm day. Well, why is that happening? And partly that's because you got this storm that's going through, and you just imagine a big L there. And what do cyclones do? What is cyclonic rotation? Cyclonic rotation means anti-clockwise. That's what we mean when we say cyclone. We mean anti-clockwise system is moving around, right? As opposed to clockwise, which is high pressure. So that's anticyclonic is a high pressure system. So the cyclonic system, right, it's moving anti-clockwise. So what does anti-clockwise mean? It means it's bringing warmer air up. It's also bringing some of this warm slot. So right now we're on the warm section of another incoming storm. So here's our storm that's basically been moving through. It's been slamming up the coast this week, and it's got the long comma. We can look at that in a second, long comma. But you can see here's the warmth, right? That it's, look at these short waves in these isobars here. You can see how that warmth is being pulled up by this, and that's the same warmth that's feeding that storm, right? So have a look at the rain and thunder, for example. And we see the classic comma shape, and you can see how it's still dragging its moisture to that same place in the BC coast. You can see how still we have that dry, warm section down southern BC as it's pulling in this warm air that's feeding this storm, right? We got this next one lined up to coming in behind that's forcing this guy to move through. We have on Wednesday, this line of precipitation is going to make its way. This cold front is going to make its way across. It's going to slam down temperatures, going to change the story in British Columbia, and it's going to trigger a bunch of thunderstorms when it does so. So we are looking, though, at still another day of some pretty nice weather. And until you get that storm slam into you tomorrow, maybe you'll still have some nice weather. Like we were looking yesterday and saying that, wow, it could be 25 in Vernon tomorrow afternoon. This is today on the map. We could be looking at 25 tomorrow afternoon. Look at this nice weather, even up north of Quesnel into the 20s. Well, we'll skip forward for a day and have a look at this, right? And this is your cold front moving through right here. You can see it very clearly. You can see these bends and the isobars once again. And sure, it's warm on this side of it. You're in your 20s still, but when you go on this side of the cold front, you're down to 10, right? So there's going to be snow, cold, and things on the mountaintops and the backside. Very, very abrupt, vigorous change that's going to happen there. Well, let's have a look at what this all entails. Something I do want to mention too is people had said to me like, "Wow, you're just looking at windy, and anyone can do that." And that's kind of the point of what I'm doing here. I mean, there's a philosophical reason why I use Windy. I mean, it's a good app. It's a great app, right? It's accessible. That's what's great about it as well. Everyone can get it on their phone and look at it. So you can look at my forecast video here and you can verify it for yourself. We could spend time looking at the Environment Canada maps, the National Weather Service maps, the National Oceanographic, Oceanic and Airspace Administration's maps. We could spend time looking at Blitzer Tongue. We could spend time looking at Vinci Sky. We could spend time looking at, the Cave portal, a computer program I have that spits out a lot of complicated shit. I find Windy is good because you can look at this forecast now and you can look at your Windy on your phone and be like, oh, I saw Joe said there was thunderstorms coming on Wednesday. I can go and look for myself and see what that actually looked like. So that's kind of the point of why I use an app that's accessible to people. So here's our vigorous cold front coming through on Tuesday. We'll just zoom out just a little bit and get a wider picture. So that moisture finally slamming down the coast, finally. So this is the good news, is that moisture is on the move, right? It's not sitting in one spot. It's not just stalled out, say, in Abbotsford and dumping rain for days and days and days. So we do have a bit of rain that'll start this evening. I mean, it's already been raining in northern BC a lot, but for those of us in the Cariboo Mountains and those of us in the Prince George region, South Coast going to start seeing it. And then already Wednesday, let's go back. Now here's our line of the cold front. Instability out in front of it could trigger some individual thunderstorms, some individual clusters well out in front. So we'll be watching to see if those trigger first in the Kootenays. So Kootenays, you may be getting a little bit of thunderstorm activity for sure tomorrow, I would think. I really think it's coming to you. We got a mix of snow in the mountains, sleet, hail, rain. These are all words that are going to be on the tongue of forecasters, I'm pretty sure, tomorrow. So cold front's moving through. We had and its timing is perfect, right? So it's landing right in the central interior at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which is about, now at this time of year, about as warm as it's going to get. This Atlanta thunderstorms isn't just BC as well. It does slide down into Washington a little bit, into Oregon, but mostly we're looking at eastern British Columbia from Blue River down. I don't think here in Wells we're going to see much for thunderstorm activity. Probably going to see rain more than anything, which sucks, because this is probably the last good chance this year to see lightning. I mean, how many strong thunderstorms are coming this year? Not probably many after this. I mean, I'm surprised this is happening. I mean, not that surprised, but I mean, it's a little unusual. Define unusual as, it can happen, but it's not like it's not like an everyday thing. So we're looking at some of these strong precipitation totals. If you go into the Cariboos, sort of west of Blue River, north of Clearwater there, looking at some pretty strong. You got a couple big mountains there just outside Clearwater, Dunn Peak, I believe that's called. Strong risk of heavy rain bursts up there, lots of lightning possible for Sicamous, Celista. So definitely Shuswap area. You are on the threshold of a strong thunderstorm day. Kelowna, Penticton, all at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So the timing is perfect. The sun has been there, and you can see it's 24 in the cusp, and Kamloops, the cold front's just hitting Kamloops at this time, and Kamloops it's like 20, 18, and Lillooet's 13 behind, Williams Lake 9. So you can really see that vigorous cold front. And while they were talking about wind, here's some of the wind gusts that we're probably looking at tomorrow. These are strong winds. We'll reverse. The winds may start as early as 3 a.m. out in the Chilcotin. Cariboo Mountains looking to start getting windy. Columbia is looking to start getting windy. Selkirk's moving down to southern BC by the morning time. And okay, bam, here we go. On the Alberta side of the Rockies, looking at some crazy winds. So I would call that Chinook weather for sure. This is Chinook for sure. So that, again, that low pressure is dragging warm air up in front, which create this collision zone between the warm and the cold, right? Well, look at how warm it is in the Alberta side of the mountains. 24s, 26s, 26 in Saskatoon. So we got the large effect of the warm air being drawn up by these low pressure systems as this cold front moves through. So really concerned. We could see wind gusts in the 70s, 80s, and whatnot. We could have a very large wind event that could be associated with thunderstorms or the gust front of the line of thunderstorms when the cold front moves through. So I can imagine either scenario. I can imagine a thunderstorm itself being the producer, or I can imagine just straight line winds. A terrible example. It's not round at all. The line starts having a nice bowing to it. That's where the strongest winds are blasting out in the front, right? The atmospheric river is entirely dependent on how long does the hose stay put at one place, right? So you can have a very powerful atmospheric river, and if that hose keeps moving along down the coast or changing its location, then one area itself isn't getting the heaviest rain for days at a time. This cold front, when it slams through on Wednesday, it's going to make its way finally into BC, and when it does, it's going to be a show, man. We know there's going to be high convective available potential energy values in parts of southeastern BC, into Alberta. We know there's going to be some nighttime thunderstorms that go through into Alberta that are going to be really, really fantastic. So Edmonton, you're probably going to get a good show up to Fort McMurray area. That should work its way out towards you sometime over the night. And have a look at these CAPE values. So strong convective available potential energy. Strong, especially in Saskatchewan. Some large numbers there, actually. So we are kind of looking at that. But here in BC, these are large numbers. These are kind of storm numbers that anything could happen. 1,300, 1,400 in BC is a pretty high CAPE value, actually. You don't get CAPE values that scream into the thousands very often in BC, not for very high lengths of time. So that's something we're watching for, how strong these storms will be, how windy they'll be. But also now we know that as this system moves across on Thursday, it's going to start bringing some thunderstorms to other parts of Canada as well. So Saskatchewan, keep your eyes open on Thursday. Saskatoon, you should be seeing some pretty good-looking storms again. Well, that's the bad news show for today. Thank you to everyone who supports the channel. Some of you just can only afford to share and like and subscribe and tell a friend and things like that. And I appreciate it, okay? I appreciate that too. But I also really appreciate my sponsors, Butterfly Effect Communications, communicationspodcast.ca. Also really want to thank the Patreon. So today's Patreon of the day is Dan Sanchez and also Danielle. That's 2 new patrons. For now on, I'm going to make a habit of every episode thanking one of the Patreons specifically. So thank you to the new Patreons. Please do join. You can join the channel here or join Patreon. And for $1 a month, whatever, right? Consider me your weather app, your actual human weather app. That's what I want to be here. Joey Only Care to Be Weather Dude YouTube channel. I think that's a lot for today. I've been saying too much, so time to go and get some firewood done. Okay, bye now.